Hello, friends. We are here in John chapter 16. And what's going on here is, in the last couple of chapters, we've been dealing with basically the last day of Jesus' life. Before he rose again. The last day of his ministry before he dies. What we get here in the book of John is just his last teachings, things that he was saying essentially to the 12, not things that he said to the main crowd. But these are all parting words. They're the things that he really wants them to know before he leaves, because he knows that they're going to go through tribulation. In fact, that's one of the first things he's saying. He's saying, look, I'm telling you these things because I don't want you to be discouraged. I don't want you to fall away because you're discouraged about everything that's happening. He's like, these things are going to happen. I am going to go away. You can't come with me. and there's going to be a point where, because the world hated me and because the world hates you because of me, they are going to throw you out of the temple. Now, it's important to note that being thrown out of the temple is not like being kicked out of Walmart. You can go back to Walmart, or you can go to a different Walmart. Even if you got kicked out of that Walmart, even if you got kicked out of all Walmarts, you could still go to, any other store that's just like it. So it's not that big of a deal. But being kicked out of the temple, that's a serious matter. It's more like being kicked out of your family. It's like, it would be like saying that you could still live in your home neighborhood, but you can't be with your family during Christmas and New Year's and Easter and, any national holidays you have. Like, every holiday that you're around the people, you just can't do that anymore. If you can't go to the temple, that is the center of their life. And if you're kicked out, it's a horrible thing. So he's saying, you're going to be kicked out of the temple. It's going to happen. And they're going to kill you, which is also really bad. Now, what he's really pointing them to is the Holy Spirit. And he's been doing that last couple of chapters, but he keeps on bringing up the Holy Spirit. And they must be confused by it. What are you talking about, the Holy Spirit? He's saying, I'm sending you a helper. Someone that will convict you, that will guide you. In the same way that I have been showing you what to do and what not to do, and I have been convicting you. The Holy Spirit is going to do those things, and it's saying it's actually better for you that I leave, because the Holy Spirit is coming. And he's saying it's better to have the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is very significant, and they didn't see it. They hadn't experienced that yet. Now, pointing forward, we know that 50 days later, they are going to be in a similar room, and the Holy Spirit's going to come. So he's saying, pretty soon this is going to happen, and then that's going to be better, and you guys are going to have the ability to do things that I have been doing on this earth. Well, it's interesting that if you look at the miracles that Jesus has done, he did them with by praying to God first. So that is what he's saying we will be able to do. The things that Jesus were able to do, we will be able to do them also. So Jesus goes on and he talks about how he says, I'm going to be gone for a little while and you won't see me. And then there will be a little while that you will see me. Implying that after that little while, they won't see him again. And so they're thinking, what is going on? What do you mean we will see you for a little bit and then we won't see you? Now, we know what this means. It means he's going to die and then he's going to be risen again. This is so significant because he knew that he was going to die, and he knew that he was going to raise from the dead. Now, this is obvious to us, but if you're a skeptic and you're reading this and you're thinking, is this true? Did Jesus really come out and say, yeah, I'm going to die and I'm going to come back? Now, they didn't understand exactly what he said, but at some point, he just said, look, I'm going to tell it to you plainly. He's like, I am leaving this world and I'm going to my Father. And they like, okay, we get it now. We understand. And so he's like, okay, you get it now. That's great. Now, get this, that the world is going to hate you because they hated me. A servant is not greater than his master. They're going to hate you even more than they hated me. And this is maybe the most significant part to me. And that is, he says, I am telling you these things so that you may have peace. And it might have been nice if he had just made it a full stop and that was the truth. But that's not the truth, and it wasn't the full stop. He said, but in this life, in this world, you will have tribulations. Now they're going to have tribulations because it was a very violent world towards the early Christians. But it's true of everybody. In this world, we are going to have tribulations. Jesus says, but take heart, because I have overcome the world. So what does this mean for us? It means when we have tribulations, when we go through these things, I don't know what you might be going through today, but there is a couple things that you can take to the bank. One of them is that when you're going through such tribulations, that God sends the Holy Spirit to help you, to counsel you, to comfort you, to get you through this. You can have hope knowing that the Spirit of God is in you, and it's going to bring you through this. I was reminded of the song "It Is Well With My Soul," written by Horatio Spafford years ago. If you've been a Christian for a long time, you may have heard this story. But his daughters and his wife were going on a transatlantic boat ride, and the boat sank. And both of his daughters died, and his wife lived, and she sent him a telegram just saying, I was saved alone. The girls are gone. And then from that, he went from a very low place to writing that song, "It Is Well With My Soul." The Holy Spirit can give you this ability to have what's called in other places in the Bible, the peace that passes understanding. Another thing that you can take to the bank about what this passage is saying about you going through tribulations, and that is that he said, I have overcome the world. I have overcome the world in the way that we know that he has, it probably didn't make sense to the original hearers, but here he will die and he's going to rise again. In the same way, we are going to rise again. Because he lives, we will also live. That was in the previous chapter as well. Because he lives, we will also live. We can know that the things of this world are temporary. We don't live without hope, because we know that Horatio Spafford is probably with his daughters right now, and it's temporary. So in the end, we know that it will all be right. And in the meantime, we know that God has sent his Spirit to comfort us. So that is John chapter 16. Have a great day. Bye.